Hey guys, so for this video, I want to give my opinion on the quote-unquote downfall of Fortnite. I got inspired to make this video after watching a 30-minute documentary by Sunny V2. Sunny covers the rise and decline of the Fortnite player base over the past 13 seasons. He also offers some explanations as to why the decline happened, as well as statistics to back his claims up. Now, while I really enjoyed his video and I suggest you all go give it a watch, I do not agree with his conclusion. That's why today, I wanted to discuss my own conclusion, aka what I believe to be the real downfall of Fortnite Battle Royale. Before we start though, I want to make it clear I'm not here to fearmonger you or convince you that Fortnite is dead. This game will be around for a long time. In addition to that, I'm not here to argue that Fortnite is not on a decline. The numbers don't lie and they have all been pointing down. However, I think the reason for this downward spiral is not what Sunny V2 makes it out to be. So with all of that being said, let's get right on into it. Starting off with Sunny's conclusion, he essentially says that Fortnite's downfall was a mix of three things. 1. Bad updates, 2. The natural progression of video games, and 3. The introduction of creative/playground modes. I myself actually agree with the first two explanations. It's hard to deny those things did not contribute to Fortnite's decline. What I don't agree with is that creative and playground modes ruined Fortnite. I hear this notion a lot from different YouTubers and streamers. They say turbo building ruined Fortnite, competitive ruined Fortnite. I've even seen some people say that I ruined Fortnite because I make tips and tricks videos. That is not a joke, by the way. No matter what specific group of people is being targeted, it always seems to come back to creative or playground mode ruining Fortnite. Just for a little background information, playground mode was released in June of 2018. This was at the end of season 4, right when Fortnite was near its peak popularity. I actually remember playing in playground mode myself when it was initially open to the public. I would get in a lobby with some of my friends, farm a bunch of materials, put them in a big box to use for later, and then build battle to sky limit. I would do this for hours on end to improve my building and editing. To no one's surprise, I was not the only one either. Tons of people did the same exact thing, including pro players and streamers like Tfue, Myth, 72 Hours, and Poach. As a result of this, Playground became the quickest way to improve your skill. You no longer had to play hundreds or thousands of matches to become a half-decent player. You could simply practice 1v1s in Playground mode and get even better than you could before in a much shorter period of time. Pretty awesome, right? Well, what this led to was an increase in the average player skill level. Everyone started to get good fast. On top of that, bad players started to disappear. They either improved due to Playgrounds mode and became good players, or they quit because they could not keep up. This posed a very difficult dilemma for Epic to deal with. The mode they envisioned to help new players practice in became a tool for good players to get even better with. Epic had basically shot themselves in the foot. Now, the thing I feel like Sunny and other people with his viewpoint overlook is that this general progression in skill was inevitable. No matter what Epic did, players were going to get better at building. Whether that happened in 2018 with Playground mode or a year later in creative, it was going to happen at some point. Did Playground mode accelerate the process? Sure, of course it did. You had players, as Sunny said, gaining 6 months worth of skill in 2 weeks. That is quite literally the definition of speeding things up. The thing is, I believe that was bound to happen with or without Playgrounds mode. You see, before Playgrounds even existed, players were constantly coming up with unique ways to get better. One of them was queuing up at the same time as your buddies, hopefully getting into the same match and landing together at Weeping Woods. You wouldn't necessarily team, but you'd farm up, fight, leave the game, and repeat the process. This was exactly what Playgrounds mode was. The only difference was it took way more time to set up. Another cool way people got practice was Q sniping in 50 vs 50 mode at Moisty Mire. Again, you would get into each other's games, land away from the zone at Misty Mire, gather up heals and shields since you would most likely be storm fighting, and duke it out while your team was across the map. I could probably name 10 other places and strats people used to practice. The point is that Playgrounds mode was bound to exist even if Epic did not support it. Then the other big thing people tend to forget is that practicing and improving is how a lot of players, including myself, have fun. I feel like whenever the topic of sweats ruining Fortnite comes up, people only bring up the bad players that were lost. These were the players that couldn't keep up with the rising skill level and quit. As disappointing as that is, have you ever thought about how many more players would have quit had the opposite happened? This would be the scenario where the skill level never really rose. Maybe Playgrounds never existed, or maybe Epic never added turbo building. Whatever it may be, could you imagine if Fortnite tried to purposely suppress building? I honestly would not be playing today if that was the case. I got addicted to Fortnite because I love seeing myself get better at building and editing. Those two mechanics are the sole reason I found this game so fun. They're also the first thing casual players point to as to what killed the game. Let's run a quick test for 10 seconds. I want you to close your eyes and think about Fortnite without building. You can envision the chapter 1 or 2 map, it really doesn't matter. I just want you to picture yourself playing without any builds. I'm not sure about you guys, but what I see is bloom, no recoil patterns, buggy hitboxes, terrible lines of sight, and subpar movement. If I wanted to play a shooting-focused battle royale, then I would not play Fortnite. I would play something like Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, or PUBG. You know what? I would go back and play H1Z1 before I play Fortnite without any building. That absolute butt cheeks of a game has way better shooting mechanics than Fortnite does. And do you want to know how long that game lasted? Less than 2 years. That's all the time it took for a better battle royale to come out and replace it. Fortnite, on the other hand, just passed its 3rd birthday and it still reigns supreme. You can argue that certain games came close to taking it out, but the matter of fact is, Fortnite is alive and well. Millions of people play it, watch it on YouTube and Twitch, buy V-Bucks, all because they love building and editing. Those mechanics, along with the creative game mode, are what has and still do continue to make it so great. So please, let's all move past this notion that creative or playgrounds mode ruined Fortnite. If anything, those 2 game modes saved it. Moving on, let's talk about the real and actual reason for Fortnite's downfall. In my opinion, that reason is Epic Games. Epic Games themselves led to Fortnite's downfall. Here's why. Epic had no idea that building and editing would explode as much as it did. They wanted Fortnite to be a shooter game with a building feature, not a building game with a shooting feature. Luckily for them though, people fell in love with the building game. Millions of people grinded it to become better builders. Epic saw this and saw the general player base improving, yet they failed to adapt their updates and game around this trend. To prove my point, the first major patch after the Playgrounds one was a nerf to shotguns and a buff to SMGs. Epic recognized the players were getting better and wanted to give bad players a chance against good players. Rather than helping them actually improve like everyone else did, Epic chose to go the cheap route. They made P90s really overpowered with the hopes that bad players would be able to spray down good players' builds. While this may seem pretty smart in theory, can you guess what actually happened? Good players started to use SMGs themselves. They saw how broken they were and they took advantage of Epic's incompetence. The game basically turned into a spray fest. All Epic needed to do in the first place was help those new players out. That could have been through tutorials when they first signed up, easier lobbies full of other new players, or what they ended up doing later, adding a hidden skill-based matchmaking system. Epic did not do any of this in the early seasons. They continued to let new players go up against really good ones and hoped that making certain weapons stronger would level the playing field. Unfortunately, that did not work. Fast forward to season 7, and again, Epic continued down the wrong path. Instead of at least trying to help new players improve, they added yet another cop-out in planes. Planes were one of the worst features Epic ever added. Not only did they have a turret attached to them that shot out bullets, but they could also 200 to 0 you with just their propellers. I could see why casual players would enjoy them, but no good players wanted them in their matches. Imagine spending hours grinding in playgrounds, putting in the time to improve, then getting one shot by a worse player in a plane. It does not feel too good. Not to mention, these planes were not just in normal matches. I really could not care any less what Epic does in pubs, since those are meant to have fun in. What I do care about is that Epic put all these broken items in competitive tournaments. From planes to the mythic infinity blade to mechs to boomboxes, these items started the great divide between casuals and sweats, and also incited the long-lasting disdain between the competitive scene and Epic Games. As far as what's happened recently, Epic has definitely taken some solid steps towards balancing the overall game. They added skill-based matchmaking, that way new players won't get dumped on. They began a policy of not immediately adding new items to Arena, and they started communicating more with the community via creator patch notes. However, this was a little too late. Epic has already pissed off both the casual and competitive communities to the point of no return. And the craziest part about it all is that they're still not open to implementing the most basic solutions that would solve their problems. One of these things that would be amazing for both communities is separate loot pools. Separating the loot pool means adding fun items to public matches and only balanced items to competitive. It also means not having these same items in unranked and ranked. Funnily enough, Epic has actually done this with certain items. Vehicles like helicopters and cars are not in competitive, the flare gun is not, yet at the same time, stuff like the shockwave launcher, which is way too strong when used in the right hands, remains in tournaments. As far as I know, the only explanation they've ever given is that they do not want little Timmy to be confused when he watches competitive. They want people watching casually at home to be able to play a pub and see the same exact thing in the $30 million World Cup. I won't even begin to talk about how stupid that is. I'll just address the fact that they've actually gone against their own word. Arena and competitive tournaments have different farming rates in public matches, mats and health per kill, as well as what I just said, a semi-separate loot pool. For the love of itsJerian Epic, just rip the band-aid off and completely separate them. There's no reason not to. You would make the competitive players happy by letting them adjust their own balanced loot pool, and you would make the casual players happy by allowing them to have fun. It's quite literally a win-win situation. My personal favorite solution that Epic Epic has not yet implemented is fixing the arena mode. Arena is Epic's really bad version of a ranked system. The reason I'm saying it's bad is that there's no real incentive to play, and you cannot derank out of Champions League. What kind of ranked mode has the feature where you cannot derank? That is the stupidest thing ever. Additionally, half the reason you see so many sweats in public matches is that there's nothing to grind for in arena. People just get 6k points, aka Champions League, and the ability to play in tournaments, and then never really touch it again. If they do, they just push everyone and troll around, or they play customs. Imagine if Epic added an actual ranking system or some sort of end of season prizes to grind for. Every sweaty player would be in arena 24/7. So why doesn't Epic do it? Are they lazy? Are they stupid? Do they just not care? I think it's a mix of all of that. Epic has continually shown that they believe they have a one-size-fits-all solution. They've recently kind of realized this won't work, as shown by their minimal attempts to keep each side happy, but they really have not given it their full effort. Why would they when they can just sit back and continue to rack in cash without caring? Thus, to wrap the video up, the reason for Fortnite's downfall is not playground mode or the sweats. Sure, you could make the argument that this all started because of playground mode, but you gotta realize that was not the real reason. Epic Games is the only one to blame here. They had more than enough opportunities to make everyone happy. Instead, they helped out neither the casuals nor the sweats and left both groups resenting each other. That is not the fault of playground mode or creative. That is all on Epic for not properly adapting to the needs of their player base. Donald Mustard, I blame you. Overall guys, that is what I believe to be the real reason of Fortnite's downfall. Let me know down below whether you agree or disagree, as well as your opinion. Also try to keep in mind that Fortnite is not dead, it's not dying. I mean, I guess you could technically say it is based on the numbers, but I promise you it is going to be around for a long time. itsJerian will not be leaving you anytime soon. So if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code JERIAN. All you gotta do to see your name up there on the shoutouts is DM me on Twitter or Instagram, preferably Twitter with a picture of you using my code. I want to try to shout out everyone, so please don't forget to let me know. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.